What's up, guys? Welcome to an emergency pod for the Stoppage time Stooges. I'm your host, Christian, joined by my friends Jacob and Ricardo. As you can see by the title, we're talking the Carabao Cup Final. One of us is feeling good about ourselves, the other one, not so much. And, Ricardo's here for the vibes. So,
Yeah.
uh, Ricardo, how are you doing before we get to someone who's very, very
Yeah,
much in a worse
don't ask
spot?
me that question.
um, listen, from a neutral standpoint, I was like, I just didn't want a 1-0 game, but granted, this was an eventful 1-0 game. Like, there definitely could have been a few more goals, but you know what? I it was I'm really interested to see what Jacob has to say, but that's really the vibe I'm getting here. That's all the vibes I want right now. All this negative energy that Jacob's about to unleash. So yeah, we're feeling good. How are you guys?
Jacob? It's not fine.
Been better. I've been better before. So of my team, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, they've been better. They used to win games like this. Yeah, but not anymore.
All right. So, for context, before we get into everything, for anyone who didn't watch this game, Liverpool entered this match missing 11 players. It was reported earlier in the morning that Dominic Szoboszlai, Mohamed Salah, and Darwin Núñez were going to miss the game. That was kind of up in the air. It didn't really feel like any of them were going to be available, but it was reported as a game time decision. Of course, none of them are in the squad, and that made it feel as if that Chelsea was going to have a better chance. I know the favorites, Vegas and everyone, had still Liverpool's a favorite, but it felt much more even from my perspective, at least. And it appeared that way, I think, for the first 45 minutes, which we'll discuss. But on the whole, Chelsea had 5 big chances. All of them were missed. Liverpool had 1 big chance. I don't know if that was the goal, but they had 1 big missed chance as well. So, very even game. It went to extra time for the third straight final between these two clubs. It didn't go to penalties for a third straight time, which that happened on 2 separate occasions in 2022. And Virgil van Dijk scores the winning goal in the 118th minute.
Yep.
So
Something like that.
a bizarre game. It always seems that way between these two teams, especially lately. I think it's like 8 or 9 draws in the last 12 or 13 matches between these two teams in every competition. So more of the same between Chelsea and Liverpool. But Jacob, I'll let you unleash on whoever you may in this Chelsea squad.
God, where do I start? Let's see. So you mentioned obviously that Liverpool had a lot of injuries, and I emphasize a lot of injuries. Half their first team was not available. Allison, Mohamed Salah, Dominic Szoboszlai, Diogo Jota. Who else am I forgetting? Darwin Núñez,
Trent
Alexander-Arnold. I mean, I don't even think if Jamie Carragher was still playing, he wouldn't have been available either. I mean, it doesn't. You name it, they probably weren't playing. Let me just put it that way. And yes, Virgil van Dijk was playing, so I understand. How do I put this? It couldn't be more set up for Chelsea to win the damn game. Liverpool had the excuse of, oh, we have a lot of injuries. And, Chelsea have injuries too, but not that many. So it's another gut punch. And of course, it had to happen with 3 minutes left in extra time. Just enough time for them not to be able to do anything to come back and win the game in typical Chelsea fashion. Always concede when you can't come back and you either win or tie the game or whatever. It's always like that. That's Mauricio Pochettino football at its finest. I mean, let me just get to this. I mean, sorry, folks, my head is all over the place because this game drove me just nuts, off the wall. I'm fuming angry. Let's start with the fact that they stole another damn goal away. And again, I am not someone that is against the concept of VAR. I am happy we have VAR. It's a good thing. But can you get the damn calls right? Please get the calls right. Don't waste my time spending 3 minutes looking over a call just to get it wrong. For reference, I'm referring to the goal that was disallowed from a pass from Nicholas Jackson to Raheem Sterling that would have given Chelsea a 1-0 lead. So in that play, they said it was offside, yet Ibrahima Konate's arm is ahead of Nicholas Jackson. Is it tight? It's a tight image. I understand it was very close. It wasn't like obvious, but his arm is ahead of Nicholas Jackson. Therefore, he's not offside. You don't need to be an expert to know that. That's the damn rules. That's how they're supposed to work. But they said, oh, no. We're going to go to the monitor just to confirm we got the call wrong again. You got the call wrong on the field. Let's get it wrong with the monitor. Because, we getting it wrong once wasn't enough. And again, I know that that's not the ultimate excuse for Chelsea not winning the game. I understand that, but it would have been a heck of a lot easier if they were up 1-0 at any point in the game.
If they wind up scoring in that
Completely
setting.
changed the damn game.
Ricardo, if I may, what'd you think of that call? I know my point of view was that the angle they were giving it from, it's not a straight line, so you can't really determine. I don't know. I agree with Jacob. If we're just looking at the pictures they were giving us, I actually agree that probably should have been given. It looked like Konate had played him on. But Ricardo, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that decision.
Yeah, well, first I'll go back to just like the rule itself. I thought it was the arm, it was just like the upper part, like literally this like shoulder blade that is the only thing considered. Like your arm extended out. I don't think that counts towards offsides,
I
right?
think
Like,
you're right on that.
yeah, so that's I think the reason that the call didn't stand, or sorry, the call stood, the original one. But I mean, the angles for on the broadcast were just not the best, obviously, as you guys have said. I'm just like, to me, watching that, I'm like, why do we not have like a straight on angle of like the exact play? Like, I don't know. They have so many cameras, and it's like Wembley's such a huge stadium. Like, you would think you would have at least one camera that would find, that specific angle to find the like exact straight line. So, and it just wasn't clear based off the broadcast replays. But I mean, if we're basing it off the rule, then he was offsides because the arm isn't considered a part of the play. It's only up into the shoulder, but it was really really close. Like that's, yeah. I mean, it just took forever though. But that was again another issue for VAR, that the call is taking too long. That's just such a, it's a common theme. It's been a common theme for a while now. But that's my take.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I agree with Jacob's frustration though, because the rules are unknown. We're gonna sit here for probably years. We're gonna come on this pod like every 1 or 2 weeks and be discussing a call. That what's the conclusive answer? There's no right answer. One right answer. It always feels very subjective between referee to referee. So I don't know. If we said that was a goal given and it stood, I would have probably had no complaints.
Yeah.
It just happened to go the other way. But yeah, that was a very important moment in the game, because I think if Chelsea were to go up 1-0, this is, as we've talked about, there was 11 absentees in 12 when Gravenberg went off, which I think that's probably going to be a serious injury given that he was taken off on a stretcher, which, adds to the problems that are going to continue. But if Chelsea go up 1-0, and I don't know what minute that was, but it was early in the first half, midway through the first half, changes the game because Liverpool didn't have many answers going forward. Diaz, you were kind of hoping for individual moments. Gakpo had a couple, and set pieces. That was really it. Those were the only three real avenues for goals. So, yeah, I agree with your frustration, Jacob. I totally understand, given it would have just changed the entire momentum of things.
Yeah, and I admit a lot of that is the fan in me talking, but trust me, my frustration goes way beyond that. I mean, it's funny because they didn't have the same kinds of like super obvious sitters that they missed that they usually do. I mean, I understand that. I mean, they had some that they definitely. I mean, Cole Palmer should have scored on that
That one was early.
rebound, and Kelleher was tremendous today. I'm not going to take anything
Yeah.
away from him. He played a really great game. He kept Liverpool in that game for large parts of it. And I mean, Cole Palmer should have finished that. It's just frustrating that he didn't. I don't want to kill him too much because he's been probably the best player on the team, so I don't think it's fair. But I am going to kill Conor Gallagher, and yes, I know it's become oh, Jacob hates Conor Gallagher. Well, again, when you give me something to be happy about, and I will cheer it on. I mean, Christian, let's see. He missed the one that went off the bar? He missed the other where he basically pooped his pants and just to let Kelleher take up the ball.
Yeah.
And then wait, was there another one?
Yeah, so I'll go through them. I wrote it down. I watched the highlights before we got on. 76th minute was the one where it went off the post, which was I don't want to kill him for that one because
unlucky.
Very quick. He had to react. I don't remember who put the ball into the box, but it went off the post. That one's not the problem. The following one is the one that's got to get put away, which was in the counter. Enzo plays Cole Palmer in on the right side. It was like a 2v1. I think Konate and Virgil van Dijk were both near Nkunku, which left space on the left side. And Gallagher just took way too many touches. Or he could have went around the keeper.
Yeah.
I mean, he had
Kelleher did a good job of swallowing it up,
coming out and closing the angle down. That's right.
You gotta get a shot, dude. Just again, something. I mean, he's supposed to be a 10. He has no instincts at all.
That was the worst of the three. And then a minute later, less than a minute later, Jackson gets in 1v1, I think, against Konate, and then it turns into kind of a scruffle in the box. And then he plays Palmer. Gallagher gets the ball back like 20 yards out.
The Enzo one?
No,
back heel?
That's a bad one too. I don't know what minute that was in, but in the 86th minute, less than a minute later, after the big miss from Gallagher, he gets a ball back out near the 18 and he put it wide. That wasn't terrible.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
The one where it was 1v1 with the keeper, that's the one that's got to get put away.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the story of Chelsea season. Missing sitters, missing one-on-ones left and right. That's one of the many low-light things that have plagued them the entire year. And it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. So, and Enzo Fernandez again. I mean, I know he had a few good performances with the Villa game in the FA Cup. He was okay against City. Some other games, he scored a goal against Crystal Palace that didn't really mean anything. But today, again, came up small. I'm sorry. And I know he's been through a lot with having to move and all this stuff, and he's got a lot of pressure on him. If you're a great player, you have to show up in big moments. And he never, ever does that, at least with Chelsea. He never does that. Moises Caicedo, how did this guy make this much money? Like, I'm trying to figure out what makes him special. All he does is make reckless challenges. It's like he's begging to get sent off. Every single game, he's begging to get sent off. I swear. Get away with another one today. I'm telling you, there is not one game that goes on without him making committing a foul right by the box. It happens at least once a game. Every time. It's like clockwork. I mean, it's ridiculous. And again, I'm telling you, he does not want that damn. Every time he gets the ball, he's like skittish. I'm not asking him to be freaking Busquets, but can you be a little better? Please? I mean, was it all De Zerbi? Is that the only reason you were good last year? I don't think so. I hope not. Because that's more money down the drain. And yes, I know he's also young. But again, this is also the problem with just throwing a bunch of young players on the team, throwing them into the deep end without any floaties and asking them to swim. They're not all going to figure it out. I mean, is that such an antiquated idea? Maybe look back at every great Chelsea team of yesteryear that won something. They all were littered with veteran players. John Terry, John Obi Mikel, Frank Lampard, Michael Ballack, Didier Drogba. I mean, I can go on and on. And yes, there were young players in there, but it's got to be a mixture, not only young players. And that's why I've screamed about this the entire season. Where else can I go? And again, the extra time, the lack of intensity and energy was so pathetic. I mean, did they want? I don't think they wanted to win the game. There was some quote, I don't know what it was verbatim, so I don't want to misquote anything about Mauricio Pochettino said that they were trying to get the penalties because they were tired. What, you think Liverpool wasn't tired? Yeah. Everyone's tired. Too bad. It's a big game. Go out and win it. How that it's like 388 games and he has of him managing in England, 0 trophies. 0.
I'll give you a breather. One thing I will say is when you're talking about Enzo, the one chance where he tried to backheel it, and I don't know if Cole Palmer called him off. Ricardo, I'm sure you saw this as well. Yeah. Palmer could have called him off, and he could have done a dummy through his legs, and all Palmer had to do was put it in the bottom left corner.
Sterling was there too, by the way. It was 2 of them, not 1. 2 people behind him.
Yeah. Until Caicedo and Fernandez are able to create a positive partnership where they're just controlling games from the midfield, it's hard to see them climbing the table in the league, or winning, a cup, doing any of those things, because that's the biggest position for them. Defensively, they have some good players that have performed well lately. Disasi, Gusto's been having some good performances. Petrovic has come into a position that's been questionable, and he's been fairly comfortable. So I think until the midfield is dominating games against the smaller teams in the league, performing in big games, it's tough. But I will agree with you on the Poch thing. Chelsea had 3 huge chances in the last 10 minutes of normal time, and with 4 or 5 kids on the field, they had nothing. I watched the highlights, and there was nothing of Chelsea in extra time. And that's all on the coach to me. Maybe not all, but a large amount of it has to go on Poch, because if the quotes are true that he told his team that he wasn't confident about what they could do in extra time and that they were saving everything for penalties, that's just poor mismanagement, because Klopp had nothing. Diaz, I think, is going to walk out of this game with a groin injury or some sort of knock that's going to knock him out for at least the midweek game in the FA Cup, because he played 120 minutes. He looked gassed. They had an 18-year-old striker and Harvey Elliott, who was playing right wing, then went to midfield when Gravenberg went off, and then back to right wing. So all of their front 3 was either inexperienced or hurt or gassed. So, the fact that Liverpool was creating any chances in extra time to me was crazy. I wanted to hope for penalties, that from my perspective, because it seemed like that was the only way Liverpool were going to win. And for some odd reason, that was what Chelsea's point of view was. Before we get to Jacob, Ricardo, what do you think of Poch reportedly telling his team to play 4 penalties and not go for a goal in extra time?
Oh my God. Yeah. I needed to chime in on this because, you laid it out perfectly. Like, Chelsea had them up against the wall. You had them cornered, you had them where you wanted them. And instead of, keeping your foot on the gas in extra time, trying to take advantage of the inexperience, even more inexperienced than Chelsea's players, instead of trying to take advantage of that, your mindset changes to that. Like, that's you're playing to not lose. That's not how it's supposed to be played. You're trying to win. Like think about it like this too. This is, I'm not saying Chelsea's season, but like this was probably their only shot at winning a trophy. FA Cup, yeah, they're still in it. But let's be real. How lucky do you think they're gonna get with the draws and how the
A
bracket
lot of
shakes
the
out?
big teams are still in the mix, so
Exactly.
it's
So
very unlikely.
yeah, and so this was their time to win it all. Like they had it all laid out in front of them, and instead of they're not playing Champions League, they're not playing in Europe. They're nowhere near the top four in the Premier League. So this is where it's like you put all your eggs in this basket. At least something to try and I don't know salvage the season or something to look back on and celebrate. Because I mean you look at it in the grand scheme of things, it's like they're not doing well in the league. It's just they're just not the Chelsea of old, and this would have been a silver lining at least, right? Like, but that's just horrible from Pochettino. That can't like I can't believe you're going out and even admitting that, saying that you're like, yeah, we're trying to play for penalties and you're tired and all this, but it's like Liverpool's been in more competitions and more banged up. I just don't understand the excuse. Like that's just a losing mentality. That's so there's a reason he doesn't have trophies. If you're going into games like that, like that's just conservative. Like it's just poor from Pochettino. That's just pathetic.
This is what they get for hiring someone from frickin' Tottenham who never win anything. Don't forget 2016, the year Leicester won, 2016, the year Leicester City won the league. Tottenham were in second place. They played Chelsea. They were up 2-0. Chelsea had nothing to play for. They were in 10th. They were awful. It was the year after they won the championship with Mourinho, the last time, and then he got sacked. They're up 2-0 at the halftime. They blow it, and they end up drawing 2-2. It gives Leicester the title. Back then, they had it. I mean, this is the same guy that didn't win Ligue 1 one year at PSG. Ligue 1, Ligue 1, whatever you want to call it. The league that is a joke. He couldn't win that. Are you kidding me? With Mbappe, was that Messi on that team?
Yeah,
Lionel Messi, or anyway, Kylian Mbappe and Neymar on the same team, and he couldn't win the league. Are you? I mean, I guess is what we deserve. I guess we should know better. And yeah, I mean, Ricardo made a great point about how Chelsea they had Liverpool. The way I think of it is like think of it if like Muhammad Ali was fighting Joe Frazier, and he had Joe Frazier. He's about to knock him out. And he said, "You know what, Joe? I'm gonna take it easy on you and let you start to feel better." I mean, that's what it's like.
Yeah.
When you have someone down, finish them. Don't enough with this. Again, also, why would you want to go to penalties? You know how much more pressure that is on a young, inexperienced team to do that? That hasn't done a lot of that before? You really think that there's a better chance of doing that? I mean, it's so backwards. It's so stupid. It's infuriating. I can't take it anymore. I just can't. Like, there were. I'm almost forgetting. I can't even talk. I'm so incredible. Trying to think of anything I've forgotten that I want to share. Oh yeah. Is Romeo Lovett? Where are you? Would you? I think that I'm convinced that it was like he was like Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant when he almost got eaten by a bear. That must have been what happened to him. Because this guy, I mean, where is he? Again, think about this too. Most of Chelsea's injuries have happened on the training ground. Carney Chukwuemeka, who's not available today, on the training ground. Christopher Nkunku's injury that has plagued him the entire year on the training ground. I mean, among so many things, it's just like, and that's the problem. Like, you look at the bench, he has to bring on Mikhailo Mudryk, who stinks, Noni Madueke, who's an inexperienced winger who's not consistent, and Nkunku, who's still I'm praying he turns out to be good, I guess he's not. I hope the reason he's not playing good is because he's not 100%. I hope that's why. And not he just isn't playing well. I mean, the bench is littered with nothing. It's like going to like a store and all you have left is the clearance section. It's like going to a sports store and all they have left to buy are jerseys of players that don't play for those teams anymore. Hey, you want a RJ Barrett Knicks jersey? No, why would I want that? You want a Kevin Durant Nets jersey? No, why would I want that? He doesn't play for the team anymore. That's what it's like. That's how bad the bench is. I mean, God, and again, and look, I know Jurgen Klopp, it's his farewell tour, which is another reason why I freaking hated them losing the stupid game.
It just adds to the anger
with that stupid grin and that stupid fist bump that I am so sick and tired of. Having to watch them collect those dopey winners medals. Ugh, can't take it anymore. I want to be like that. I want my team to sing to their fans. I want a manager who's not a freaking dope. And again, this is my last thing about Conor Gallagher. And I don't know if Ricardo caught this or not, but I talked to Christian about it earlier. For some reason, the English media will not stop kissing his you-know-what. When he came off of the pitch to get subbed out, Stuart Robson bent over backwards to compliment how he played. Hey, Stuart, were you closing your eyes when he missed 3 damn goals? That in a 0-0 game that, I don't know, maybe one of them could have helped.
That's a universal thing, too. It's not just Robson.
I mean, they're all like, oh, Conor, he works his socks off. Oh, he's a lovely player. All this crap. It's like, are you guys watching the game? Are you watching the game like this?
No,
that's what I see. I mean, like, like they act like, oh, someone's like, I saw another guy that I like watching on YouTube. He's like, God, I love Conor Gallagher. What? The only time that sentence should have ever been uttered is when he got those 2 goals against Crystal Palace. That's it. Or I guess that 1 goal or whatever it was against Villa. Otherwise, what?
Ricardo, you wanted to interject?
I love that guy? Really?
Well, I mean, the work rate, I feel like he has the best work ethic.
How many games has that won them?
But it's not just him. I'm saying my point is that he's the one who stands out the most in midfield, and at least, you know
what that means?
He's running all over the field.
The bar is on the ground, if that's the case. That's how low the bar is.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, still, at least he stands out in a better way than the other guys in the midfield, like Enzo, inconsistent.
Jacob, you're more frustrated with the 2 holding midfielders than Gallagher, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I am.
The
reason more my anger with Gallagher is that I feel like he gets a pass a lot for being average, and it really annoys me. And part of the problem is that they don't have anyone better on the bench because Lavia's injured, Chukwuemeka's injured. That's why I get so annoyed. It's because they can't even take him out because they have no one better to replace him with.
Yeah. I mean, that's valid.
I mean, that's how bad it is. Clearance section. That's the bench.
Gallagher's interesting because definitely in this game, I think every Chelsea fan is in their own right to be frustrated.
Yeah.
Because again, Chelsea easily could have won this game had Gallagher taken one of those 3 big chances.
Yeah.
Like,
I also
would
do
like
understand.
him. Oh, no, sorry. No, go on.
Just to say this.
Go on. Yeah.
Because he's a 10. If Gallagher wasn't contributing to goals and he was playing as a deeper midfielder, like an attacking 8, I guess, one that moves more forward, I would understand. But again, he only has 6 goal involvements as a 10. he's one of the problems, at least in terms. You need to, in that position, you have to contribute to goals. It's hard to compare him to other 10s, but De Bruyne's coming. He probably has more goal involvements. I don't know how many he does, but
Yeah.
De Bruyne's been injured for 4 or 5 months,
Yeah.
and half of his appearances have been off the bench. And I wouldn't be surprised if he has more goal involvements in the league.
He does.
Foden plays that 10 for them sometimes. Definitely has more goal involvements.
Yeah.
Bruno's not even having a great season. He might have more goal involvements. Yeah. I just that I understand from Jacob's point of view.
Yeah.
Because great. And there are definitely 10s in England and in the top 5 leagues who don't run and just stay in the attacking third of the field and say, give me the ball, I'll turn and I'll try to create space and problems from that field. But Gallagher, to his credit, does run back. He's running up and down the field, side to side. That's a good part of his game. But again, I think he's now what age? He is 24. This is the time of his career after the Palace loan. He needs to be contributing to more goals. He should by now be at 10, 12, 14 goal involvements in the league. Just because he plays a lot. He's played and started in almost every match.
And he does not come out of many games. He plays the full 90 a lot. And again, look, I'm not going to deny that he doesn't work hard and he does the dirty work. I'm appreciative of that stuff, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It's enough if you're a backup. It's not enough if you're playing each and every damn week. In an ideal world, the midfield would have been Lavia, Caicedo, Fernandez. And now, would that have been a good midfield? I don't know. But that's what it should be when you pay Lavia that much money, when you pay Caicedo that much money, when you pay Fernandez that much money. Now, I don't think that midfield probably costs more than most midfields in the world, and I don't think it's a top 10 midfield in the world. But that's the predicament that Chelsea are in. That's the predicament they put themselves in, so you got to do what you have to do. And I know Gallagher, it's not like the team is bad because of only him. It's just like, I just think that there are too many times where he doesn't do enough to be this, the praise that he gets from a lot of people, which is
valid. Yeah.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Like Joe Cole, who's from Chelsea, very good player. The best thing Chelsea did in January was not selling Conor Gallagher. No, I mean, well, again, if he went to Tottenham, where is he playing?
Starts on the bench, probably.
Exactly. He's on the bench. Not starting. No. On the bench.
Yeah. In terms of in that same aspect, if Gallagher were to be sold, I guess you would probably play Palmer centrally, and then you would probably play Madueke, or you would play Sterling off the right.
And again, I'm not saying that they should have sold him. My whole point is that if they did, I don't think it's a catastrophe. I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I want midfielders that contribute to goals. That's what I want. And they don't have that. At least they don't do it enough. And it holds them back. When you have attackers that are limited as is, and you also have midfielders that don't get goal involvements, who do you think is going to score? Your center halves? No. I mean, that's not what you want to rely on to score goals. So again, Chelsea are a dumpster fire right now. They are brutally run. Todd Bowley and his cronies, Begdad Abali, and all these other people that they have running the ship. I want them to be interviewed. I want to hear. I really would like them to break down their football philosophy, and I'd pay to figure that out. Tell me, I want to know what they're looking for when they try and scout these players that they've spent £1 billion on. I really want to know. What is it? So here's my projection of what I think that they look for. Under 25, played in a league that is not one of the 3 best in the world, i.e. Portugal, Ukraine, I don't know, Baghdad, maybe that's the next one. Doesn't score goals, has a lot of potential, What else am I missing?
Loves the club.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Loves the club. Whatever that means. No one's ever heard of. Gotta put that in there.
Here's that a rival is interested in the player. Therefore,
Oh, yeah.
hijack the
Here's
deal.
that another team has thought about them in their dreams.
AKA Caicedo, Lavia, Mudryk.
This is Chelsea.
And Cuckoo definitely had interest in other teams.
And again, he's still a guy where I'm not, ready.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna.
I got you.
The book's still very open, but otherwise, like, this is Chelsea. Hey, at like a dinner party. Hey, did you hear Arsenal? They want this guy, Mikhailo Mudryk. Really? Let's go get him now.
Call Todd, guys. We gotta get this guy in.
Wait, who? Don't worry about it, Todd. Where does he play? Ukraine. Don't worry about it. Ukraine. Wait, they have soccer? Wait, oh no, yeah. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Click. I mean, Enzo Fernandez, they paid over 100 million for. The year before, he signed at Benfica for how much?
Must have been less than 20. I remember we talked about it.
Let me look that up just for
I know we talked about it at one point, but I mean it didn't feel like a lot.
God. They paid 15 million for Enzo Fernandez Benfica. 15
for what, a season and a half, or was it just a half?
Not even, I don't even think even a season and a half. Less than that.
Because Chelsea signed him in January.
Yeah, for $132 million, 107 million pounds. So let me get this straight. So in less than 1 year, Enzo Fernandez turned into Jude Bellingham. Is that what I'm supposed to believe? Because that's basically what happened according to this fee. He turned to Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid. He turned into Erling Haaland. He turned into, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a midfielder. Kevin De Bruyne. I must have missed it. It's just
that is kind of bizarre when I honestly didn't realize it was 6 months, because if it was 15 million, he made 29 appearances for Benfica before going to the World Cup, and his value bumped up to nearly 100 million pounds extra.
That's wild.
But you see,
and I don't know. I don't remember back at that point, but I don't recall any other big clubs being rumored to signing him to a new club. I'm sure there were teams interested after watching him in the World Cup, because that's kind of how it goes.
Were there any games, and I know Messi's on the team, were there any games in the World Cup where you could make the argument he was the best player on the field?
No, definitely not. Not with Messi there.
No.
But let's say you took out Messi. Would you say that either? Let's be honest. Was he the second best player on the field?
No.
Yeah, that guy who's not even a top 2 player on any field at any given day is somehow with 100 million. And again, it's not like they were bidding for him from some other club either. Chelsea are just they're so bad. It's sad how pathetic they've gotten. How it's been so fast that they just got wrecked apart. All this tradition, all this winning that they used to have is just gone. I mean, the fact that I am gonna if they came in 7th in the Premier League, I'd be happy, is a sign of how bad it is. 7th, I'd be happy with. That's ridiculous. It's just, I don't know, I'm running out of things to say.
That's fine. I was reading today. I'm not sure if today's win would have gave Chelsea European qualification. It would have been the Conference League, if anything, but I read something about financial fair play getting involved, and they would potentially take a ban from European competition a year to kind of negate that. Again, not 100% certain that's how.
Of course, they would have banned. Of course, it would have been a ban, because they would have said, "Oh, you know what? That they can't handle that for that long. Let's drop the hammer." But anyway,
yeah, I mean, very interesting, but. I think that we should finish with just talking about Poch, because I've seen a ton of videos on my socials about Chelsea fans and whether or not he should stick around. And if they should sack him now, wait till the summer. So, Jacob, at this current time, what's your overall feelings on Poch and whether or not he deserves to stay in the job?
I don't think he should be sacked, even though I've been very unimpressed with the job he's done. I don't want to sack him because I just don't think it's going to do anything. I really don't. I don't care who they brought in. I know what some of the fans they want Mourinho back. I think that's a terrible idea. Like really bad idea. This team is the antithesis of everything Jose Mourinho wants. He hates coaching young players. We all know that. He literally tries to get rid of them every chance he gets to get older veterans. He is just, he's past his prime if you ask me, but I just don't think that's going to make the situation much any better if they sack him. Okay, it's like, okay, they sacked him. Whoop-de-doo. The fans are happy for a day, and then they'll go on and lose. So really, does it really matter? This is what I think was going to happen. They're going to give him the rest of the year, and then they're going to say next year, if you're not, in the hunt for the minimum Europa League and the Champions League, that they're going to fire him. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to fire him around, let's say, December 2024.
So you don't think even with another summer to kind of get this squad up to gear, you don't think it'll turn around even for the first half of next season?
Not with I'm worried that they're not going to, that they're going to get hammered with some stupid ban on whatever, or something about financial fair play or whatever the hell it is. For some reason in January, he said before that we need to get older, better players, and we need more experienced players. The board did nothing. They must have had headphones on. They didn't hear him. It's just, and what money are they going to be able to spend? Let's think about this. So last year, they sold a lot of players, and that helped them, I guess, sign some other players that they got. Who are they going to sell, and who's going to want those people? They're going to sell Mudryk. Who the hell wants Mudryk? Tell me.
It's not. I think it's less about the players and the length of their deals.
That too. That was the problem with these stupid long-term deals that hamstrung.
Like 2029 and 2030. It's never been done before in the sport, and then he just acts like
it's never been done before. So let's be the first to do something that has never been proven to work. What a great idea!
And not just with like one player, like the whole squad. He's on deals to like 29, 30. Oh, I don't understand it.
Why? And another thing about they fire him. Who are they going to hire that is definitely
that's the other point.
No one.
Dude, who the hell wants the job? Do you think anyone wants to coach Chelsea now? They'd be stupid to do that. It's like, it's just. So look, I'm not saying that Pochettino's fully lost, and I'm not fully selling any Pochettino stock. It's more just I'm not impressed. Think about this. I was thinking about this when driving home today. Frank Lampard's first year in charge, they had a transfer ban. They couldn't sign players. They had a team with guys like Tammy Abraham and Christian Pulisic and Kurt Zuma. And yes, they had N'Golo Kante and Kovacic and, old Willian. That team made the Champions League. That team that couldn't sign players. This team spent all the money in the world, and they're in 10th. 10th. They're in 10th. Frank Lampard did that. Maybe that's the last time he was good at managing, but still. It makes no sense. Like, this team should be 8th. Like, 8th and, like, firmly 8th. Not, like, 8th we're hanging on. This is, and I admit, this, which is still not good, but it's better than 10th. They should be in the mix for the Europa League right now. That's what they should be. Not still on the like they're not like it's like the NFL playoffs, like the whole in the hunt. That's what they are. They're in the hunt, which means that they're basically not going to get in. It's like those teams, you know what I'm talking about, where like those teams you have, and they're in the bottom right hand corner. They're all like 4-7. They're still in it. That's Chelsea right now. They're in the hunt. The 3 worst words in the sports getting better language. Must be nice to be a fan of a club like Real Madrid and Liverpool. And and I know you're thinking, hey, well, you know, Jacob, when Jurgen Klopp took over Liverpool, they were, you know, it was not good at the start. That team was what, 7th? That team that had Benteke leading the line.
Yeah.
Lucas Leiva, I don't know you say his name. I can't even say it. Adam Lallana. That team was 7th. I mean,
yeah, it's bad.
I'm sorry, folks. But
no, don't
blame me. Blame Chelsea Football Club. Blame them. They did this to me.
You're one of many Chelsea fans feeling that sentiment, but
yeah,
Ricardo, I wanted to get your thoughts on Poch too, because that kind of feels very. I tend to agree with Jacob. It just doesn't make sense to sack him now. The summer even is difficult. I don't really know what managers want the job, or 2 are going to be available. So, do you kind of agree with that as well?
Yeah, you have to keep him, and it's just like you can't. You don't want to do like a Bayern and then every other year just start firing coaches left and right. It's just like, all right, someone else gets the job. And then the players also don't really grow that well. And it's like you're changing tactics and all this. They're relearning. There's a whole bunch of, it's just a domino effect. So, I mean, you don't want that to happen, especially with these young players. Like you want them to grow and at least, more than one season because, under a manager, because you're not gonna your growth will probably just stun after if you're hiring a manager every season or every other, like it's just that you can't be doing that. That's no, it's not how it goes.
Yeah, it's go ahead, Jacob. You had to say
the
something.
Only thing I was going to say is this is the problem. You mentioned the Bayern model. Chelsea, that kind of was the Chelsea model before it was the Bayern model. When Roman Abramovich was the owner, they would go through managers like paper towels. I mean, it was like, and it worked. In many regards, it worked. But Todd Bowley is not Roman Abramovich. So I don't know. I mean, they said that they thought when they hired Graham Potter they were going to give him time. They did. So I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I don't know. And I don't know who'd want to coach this team. I really don't. It's not like they have someone waiting in the wings that would really want to take this job. This is my thing. A lot of people want Mourinho back. The only guy that I actually want back, and you're going to think I'm ridiculous, is I want Antonio Conte. Yeah. I know he's nuts. I know he hates it. I know he makes everybody want to punch him in the face. But the last time we won the league, that man took a team that was 10th the year before and made them first. That's when the only year Guardiola didn't win the league was his first year in City, was the year Chelsea last won the league. And I don't know. There's something I know he did bad at Tottenham, but think about this: he goes to Inter. In year 1, they won the league. And I know Inter was loaded, but they still won the league. He's the reason we had to break the bank for Romelu Lukaku. He was. He helped make N'Golo Kante into a world-class midfielder. You don't think he could do that with Caicedo? He's the one that gets great defensive results all the time. Just saying.
Besides the chaos, I think that's.
I understand there's chaos, but there's results.
Yeah.
Were Tottenham ever? What do you know? What's what in the table? Where were Tottenham when they fired him? They weren't in 12th. I can promise you that, or 10th. I can promise you that. I'm almost positive of that.
That's a good question. Was he was before? Who was the manager after him?
Was that
was it Nuno?
No.
I know there's so much between them.
After Nuno. He was after Nuno because he got fired last year, remember?
But it was in the middle of a season.
Yeah, it was like in January of last year he got fired. I was like they had like this big rant and they fired him. Nuno it was Ryan Mason was like their interim. He's like their,
Right. Yeah, he was.
He's like the Joe Prunty of Tottenham. For people who don't know who Joe Prunty is, he's the Bucks assistant coach that's always their interim. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying I'd entertain the thought.
Yeah,
Chelsea need passion. They need like someone that's going to tell them that, to get fired up. They need someone that's going to light a what up their rear end. I mean, they need someone that's going to, I don't know. I think they need more of like that passion again. And instead of Mauricio Pochettino's, stupid soliloquies about, trying hard and getting better.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. I don't think they can. I don't know what the financial point of view would be in this conversation about Poch, because I know if they fire him, they have to probably pay out the rest of his deal or a certain amount of it.
It is a short-term deal. I know that for a fact. It's not a long-term deal.
So
shocker.
It's an interesting point of it. It's just difficult. And I think, again, FA Cup still in the FA Cup. That's this week against Leeds. The league is, it's 13. And, hey, weeks ago we said United had 0 chance of getting into the top 4. Then they went on this crazy run before they lost to Fulham this weekend, which, again, we'll dive into in our normal episode. But I don't know. Chelsea, I don't want to say Chelsea's going to do anything really, because, who knows at this point. It's 11th right now with a game in hand on a lot of these teams because they obviously didn't play in the league this weekend. But, yeah, they're currently 9 points out of 6th and, 17 out of 4th.
Yeah.
When you put it like that.
What a disgrace.
I'll continue to say it, and I'm sure, Jacob, you'll agree with this. They have to get into the Conference League, the bare minimum.
How do they do that?
So I don't know, because they're going to readjust everything with the Champions League. It's going to how many more teams next year? I'm blanking off the top of my head, but 40, it might be 48. I don't know. Either way, the Champions League is going to extend, so there's going to be more European places.
They're going to expand it, and they're still not going to get in.
No.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't. So currently they're behind West Ham by a point. Newcastle, who were dreadful this weekend, 2 points. Wolves 3, Brighton 4. I think getting to Brighton is not out of reach.
And where Brighton?
Now again, they looked. Brighton. What did Brighton do this weekend? I'm blanking off the top of my head, but
they drew
1-1 draw with Everton. Brighton's currently in 7th, Jacob. 4 points. You're 4 points off of
That's what I want. That's how I told you. That's
which should get a European place, regardless of the restructure.
Yeah. Get to 7th. Get to 7th or 8th. But I don't know. Anything else is a failure. Sorry.
Ricardo, you kind of feel that way as well?
7th, yeah.
If they get to 7th, it's less of a failure. That's how I put it. The season overall, it's less of a failure. And again, I thought they were going to be like max 5th. That was me being optimistic for the year. Max 5th, 6th anyway. But I thought that if they got there, it would be in a better fashion.
Yeah, I think that's the disappointment. Above all else is the style and the playing out of that style. It's just been up and down, and it's good for a couple games, then bad for the next 4. So, yeah, I tend to agree with you on that. I think 7th is reachable, and Aston Villa, West Ham, these clubs that are now in Europe were in those places over the last couple of years, which resulted in European football. So it's possible, but everything is on the table still for Chelsea. So we'll see how things unfold. Guys, is there anything else before we head out?
Well, yeah, I have one more thing. It's not a rant, just saying. Mauricio Pochettino has played Jurgen Klopp, I think, 14 times. See how many wins he has?
Not off the top of my head.
One win in 14 games against Jurgen Klopp. I swear to God, if they meet them in the FA Cup, I am done. I can't play Liverpool a fifth time, or not third. Sorry, fourth. Not I can't
Fourth
count.
time.
Fourth time. I can't do it. Please don't let that happen. Please. Oh God. But don't worry, they won't even get there, so it won't matter. They better beat Leeds. They better beat Leeds on Wednesday. They better beat them. And I don't want to hear, oh, Leeds are killing it in the championship. I don't care. Beat Leeds.
That is definitely a must win, and we will see how that goes. Thank you for watching. Of course, this is an emergency pod, so we will definitely have another episode later this week. Stay tuned for that. But as always, subscribe. Give us any ideas in the comments below, and check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. But as always, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.